Yes, good evening. Savva here, Perchy there, Will there, Has there, Stel somewhere over there will be joining us in about 20 minutes or so. Welcome to episode 3 of Spurs Unleashed, normally on a Thursday, but tomorrow we are going to the Football Content Awards and we just found out who we're going to be sitting next to, so it's all good fun. Some great people we're sitting next to. Will, how you doing? You good?
I am muted, but I'm doing good. Just excited to have some debates. You guys know I love a good debate. And was it Juno or whatever his name is? Don't worry, I won't monopolize.
No, listen, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want as a guest on this show. Big up Has, the chef, as he keeps reminding us, the best chef in South London. How are you, mate?
I am fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's good to be back on the show tonight. We've got the cap crew at the bottom here, myself and Will.
Yeah,
we're representing for the cap wearers. Look, I'm ready to get into the debates tonight.
Yeah, you guys with the caps, us that still have our hair. I'm doing better than Perchy. I just want to say I've got about 10 years on him, so I'm doing all right. Perchy, big up. Before I do any pleasantries with you, though, I would like to say to people, there's over 145 people in the chat at the moment and only 34 likes. That's got to change. Let's get that to 100 likes as quickly as possible. Perchy, how are you? You good?
I'm all good. Thank you very much. All ready and packed to come out to Liverpool tomorrow.
Nice little road trip to Anfield tomorrow. Nice little road trip. By the way, everybody, big up, smash the like button. Where do we start today? Let's start by saying hello to a few people. Big up to Jason Williams in the chat. Big up to Suze, who is the creator of all of the videos and the production. So big up to Suze, the unsung hero of Football Heritage TV. Big up to Stephen. Now, Stephen has tried to have a little pop at you, Will.
Couple times. I don't even know who Steven is. First time I've ever seen him in a chat. So big up, my man.
If it makes you feel any better, he was on Football Terrace today while I was doing Straight Facts with Terry, slagging me off constantly for the whole hour and a half. So whoever he is, he's lovely. Big up to everyone in the chat. And please keep liking. Marmite in the chat says, can Savva please unblock me? I'm really confused by this.
We couldn't see your comment if you're a block.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Big up. Look, guys, today we're gonna have some chats about Spurs, aren't we? We're gonna have some chats. We're gonna talk about Mickey van der Ven, news about his injury. We're going to be asking a question about who's the bigger miss. Is it Mickey van der Ven or is it James Maddison? That seems to be a topic this week. We're going to be talking about possibly Richarlison going to Saudi and the massive party and fireworks that we'll have when that happens. We'll talk about some possible VAR changes. We know that Has has got a lot that he wants to say about that. But I'm going to start. I want to talk, Will, I want to talk to you about Wolves, the Wolves game. It was a big chance for Spurs to, I suppose, get 3 points before we come into some really tricky games in terms of Aston Villa at home, Man City away, Newcastle, West Ham. We didn't take it. We didn't really play well. What was your overriding thoughts and feelings on the game? Tactics, team news, all of that stuff. Where are you at with all that?
Well, I definitely am a little bit separated from the crowd on this one on both sides. I don't necessarily hold the Stel position that you can't necessarily criticize Big Ange at all because it'll lead to a slippery slope of people saying Big Ange out or Ange out. I'm not on that piece. I think that day was down to Angepostecoglou. I think he made some. Maybe he tested the waters. I think he looks at this season from a point of view as he's not worried about winning the league this season. So right now he's trying to, I guess, kind of figure out the particular chess pieces that he wants to use game-wise. Because, for example, the Papin-Massar decision in that 10-esque role, I know it's technically an 8, but it's the creative aspect of our side just failed miserably, right? Yeah. I don't know why he didn't start Lo Celso there. Not that Lo Celso would have done anything different, but he's obviously the most logical piece that would go in and recover for James Maddison because, I mean, Papin-Massar, even when he's playing alongside of James Maddison, makes sloppy passes and isn't very creative. So I don't know why he thought that would work.
Mm-hmm.
Then moving into some of the other aspects of the things, I come to think I would rather see young players play than Eric Dyer. I'd rather see Ashley Phillips and Ben Davies in that partnership. That's what I called before the match. Was Eric Dyer horrible? Like, I've seen worse performances out of Eric Dyer, so it's not like it's as bad as it can possibly be, but it wasn't a good one either. And then the rest of them was just kind of, that's just the nature of the way it went. We just failed to create anything really in that second half. The first 10 to 15 minutes was great. Okay, wow, look, here we go. But then after we scored that first goal, I don't know if it was by his desire or just the teams, our normal, those old group of players after we score a goal have always tended to just shut off, and the intensity dropped. So for me, it's all about intensity, and I didn't see any in that second half, and it resulted in people having to come out of their positions and do things that they shouldn't have to do in a Postecoglou system. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, Has, if I come over to you, a lot of the talk before the game was very much around, well, look, we haven't got. There's no Maddison now. There's no Van der Ven. There's no Romero. There's no Udogie. And, there's chances here for some of the young players, and all of the fans that have been talking about that they know Ange better than anyone else is that, don't worry, Ange trusts the youth and he'll never go away from that attacking style. We get to the game and he's completely come away from that attacking style. He's completely not played any youth. What do you make of it? Is it what Will just said there? Is it that we got the goal and then the intensity just completely dropped off, or what's going on? What was up with the game?
Well, look, I just think the amount of injuries that we've had and the suspensions have had a great impact on the team, because obviously we've deviated from the way we usually play with our first 11, and now Angie's trying to think of different ways to try and compensate for that, i.e. what Will was saying, with players playing in different positions that they're not normally used to, players not being fit to sort of play the type of system that he wants to employ, i.e. Dyer having a turning circle of a truck and getting spun by his man a couple of times. Just things like
this. It's a bit harsh on trucks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, call it what you want. I mean, it's the truth. Look, nothing against Eric Dyer, but a couple of times I saw him, he was spun by his man. He's just not quick enough for us. But look, I think he's got a big job on to try and compensate for all these losses. And at the moment, I feel like he's got a free hit. We've had the cushion of having 10 games, going 10, 11 games in, having not lost anything. And we built that lovely cushion where now, coming across problems like this, it will sort of ease the blow because we won't be in such a detrimental position in the league.
Yeah.
Whereas if we had a really bad start plus these injuries, we could be looking at a lot worse. But certainly, I think there's going to be a few issues that will need to be addressed over the next coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't disagree with anything you said there. I mean, Perchy, would it have been nice to have just seen one youngster? And I don't mean Papasaro's been playing. I mean, like, maybe a Donnelly, maybe a Dorrington or an Ashley Fitton, one of them. We didn't do any of that. We didn't see any of them come on. We didn't see any of them start. Are these youngsters just not good enough, or does he not trust them? Where are we at with that? Because if they're not getting a game with this paper-thin squad in terms of quality when the first team are out, when are they going to get a chance?
That's a good question. I think when are they going to get a chance? That's the key one here, because listen, our issues was going forward, right? I think we can sit and discredit the defenders and all that, but our issue was the transition between midfield and the front three. Let's be honest, that was the key problem here. We had no creative spark, because I think we outscore Wolves if we have a James Maddison in the team, because I think you get Son in the game. It allows Kulusevski more in the game, Johnson a bit more as well. But yeah, I get it. Like, I think what was the point of pulling Phillips from the under-21s or under-23s and then not playing him? For me, it just didn't make sense. Like, because Listen,
Can I ask you? Can I ask you? Sorry, just off the back of that, can I ask you, when you saw the team, was a little bit of you a bit disappointed? You know, I don't get me wrong. We all knew that Van der Ven and Romero weren't playing, but was there a tiny, maybe a little twinge of excitement in all of us that thought, okay, we might see Phillips here. We might see a young player that we can all get behind. Then when it's Davis and Dyer, you go, oh no, oh God, it's 2015 again. Do you know what I mean? Like, was there a bit of that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we did the watch along and we went, team news is out. We won't look at it until we're live just to get the live reaction. Went, oh, that's the team. And do you know what? As I always say, like, it's not just that back four, right? It was the midfield as well, by the way. I think the combination of all of that sort of 7 players, I just sat and went, okay, Emerson Royale at left back, that worries me. Ben Davies at left centre back, that worries me. Granted, he had a good game. Eric Dyer worries me. Pedro Porro can't defend. Can go forward, can't defend. Then I looked at that midfield 3 and went, Saar, Bissouma, Højbjerg, where are we creating anything? And I went, I felt like I was watching an Antonio Conte side. It had that hallmark of a very defensive midfield, break stopping the attacking team from it and hitting them on the break, because we played like that. It was all let's try and hit on the break.
From the 3rd minute after we scored, we reverted to Conte style. And
it felt like that.
That is what was worrying for me, was that we reverted to that after scoring the first goal in the 3rd minute.
But I feel like we've been doing that a lot recently. I felt we did that against Chelsea. We scored an early goal and then we allowed them to come in at us. And then we got 2 sendings off and the whole game all went like that. But I feel like we've done that quite a bit recently. I haven't seen this team where it goes, okay, do you know what? Let's get the second goal. How many times, Savva, you did the watch-alongs with me? How many times in the Chelsea game, in the Wolves game, go and get the second goal. Let's put these to the sword and let's kill this game off quickly. Yeah? We get an early goal and we don't do it.
Well, let me circle back to Will, because Will, you made this point at the beginning about, you know, we scored the goal and then we kind of just tailed off. We did that again. As Perchy said, we did that against Chelsea as well. Not to the same degree, but against Chelsea, I think after our goal, they went 7 shots at ours without reply. Fulham,
it was after the Sun's goal got marked out. So after the second goal,
after the goal was disallowed. Yeah. Then I think against Luton, again, we had that really good start. Then it petered out a bit before we went back to it. Palace, we didn't really get going in the first half. But there's been other games this year, Will, where we haven't got going first half, and then second half we've got going. There doesn't seem to be a lot of consistency to anything we're doing at the moment. Is that a worry, or is that the signs of a new manager with a group of players who are playing a new style?
I think it's a little bit of both. Because I don't think our team got enough credit this season for the amount of first-time starters that we had in our 11 this season. It was up to something like 7 first-time. Like 7 changes to our starting 11 from the Conte season previous to that. So now that we've got a lot of those Conte players back in the side, right? Højbjerg, Dyer, Davies, Kulusevski was there. You're Emerson, right? They're going to default when they feel under stress, what they've been doing for the past 2 to 3 years before. And so I think that's the main issue between the difference is now that we're seeing these old Conte players come back in, you're going to see that Conte style of ball, because it's harder to teach old dogs new tricks, right? So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Stel, good evening, welcome, thank you for joining. How are you?
Yeah, it's a stressful day, but I'm here. Good to see you all. Big up everyone in the chat.
Good. Just in time for us to let you know that tomorrow night we're sitting on a table with right next door to Last Word on Spurs. So we're going to unite forces with Last Word on Spurs tomorrow night. So that's going to be good fun. I wonder if Jason McGovern's going to talk to me. Still, Wolves. I don't want to harp on too much about Wolves in this. I want to start looking forward to stuff. But again, it's another one of those performances, another one of them tactical things where it's caused a lot of debate after the fact, because some people now are at the point where you cannot say anything about Ange. You cannot say already, I thought he got that wrong. do you think he got anything wrong on the day? Do you think like the three in midfield was a mistake without Lo Celso or without I don't want to say Brian Hill because I don't want to get Will angry, but without Lo Celso, maybe a Jamie Donnelly or just something to mix it up and add an injection of flair in there? Did he get that wrong?
My view is no, he didn't get it wrong. But if you lose a game, then people say, well, you did get it wrong because you lost. Yeah. The issue for me is that so when we played Chelsea, a lot of people criticised the tactics, the high line. What was he doing? And then I remember saying to everyone, he's not going to do that again. That was in the moment, he thought that would be the best way to get something from the game. Yeah. He came out after the game and said, I'll do it even if I've got 5 men. I said he won't do it. Against Wolves, he did not do that. He did not play like that. Against Luton, when we went down to 10 men, he was even deeper. So Ange, when he says certain things, he's like previous managers. Sometimes he means it. Sometimes he just wants to get people off his back. And I think he just wanted to get people off his back when he said, I'm only going to play. I'll play the same way, even with 5 men.
Sometimes good, sometimes shit.
Maybe good, maybe shit. That's right. So he was nearly our manager before Nuno, remember? Gattuso.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
The Wolves game for me, when we did what we wanted to see, I said I wanted to see Phillips start and I wanted to see Lo Celso start. But then I also said, but I know what Ange is going to do. He's going to play Dyer, Davies and Højbjerg. That's exactly what he's going to do. And he did, because I've understood Ange. I understand this manager. He's not going to play someone if he doesn't think they're ready. If there's a doubt in his mind or he thinks it could cause more problems than good, he won't play them. And when I see players like Udogie, Pape Sarr, Van der Ven, Brennan Johnson, young players starting for Spurs, there can't be any reason other than he doesn't think Phillips is ready, because he's scared to start young players. He's been doing it all season. So I just think he went for what he thought would be experience. Because don't forget, Son is a captain, Maddison's a captain, Romero's a captain. 2 of the captains we've lost. Højbjerg is a senior player. He could, in his head, and when I say his, I mean Ange. In Ange's head, Højbjerg could be that captain-esque player. Not having Romero there, is he going to play 2 kids? No, he's going to play a more senior players because that's more captain-esque. And I think that's how he looked at it. At the end of the day, we've been here before, guys. Right? We've been here before with Conte, with Poch. As soon as our squad gets depleted, the manager, whoever he is, he's damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Is he right? Is he wrong? It's down to opinions. But I've just seen this play out.
Still, are we okay then? Are we okay then that next time somebody messages me with the I'll just sort of paraphrase with hi, I'm Australian. I know Ange really well. Trust me, he just attacks. He will never move away from that. Can I disregard those comments now because we've seen that's not strictly true? Can I disregard that?
I think he did try to attack, but we were just rubbish at it. Like Bissouma was terrible. Pape Sarr was bang average. Brennan Johnson, after the first 5 minutes, went missing. Son never got service, but he also never got into the game. But he's not a Harry Kane player when he does drop deep, but he could have. He didn't. Kulu, hot, cold. I just felt the entire team was rubbish. And I put it down to, as soon as you sprinkle a couple of average players, they all go to pot. And I've seen this happen for 10 years at Spurs.
Yeah, listen,
that's just my view. That's just my opinion.
I don't disagree. Just before we move on to the next subject, Hass, I want to come to you. Brennan Johnson has been quite unlucky, I suppose. Got injuries, then he's come on, and then he started against Chelsea, and then he had to come off, which I thought was the wrong move. But hey, it is what it is. He comes on, he starts the game, he gets his goal. Other than that, I'll be honest, I'll be the villain here, and then I'll ask you your thing. I don't think he's tactically and technically that good. I think we've bought a real pace merchant, which is fine, and playing him out of position. Does that make sense to you? Like, I only ever saw him playing on the right for Nottingham Forest. We buy him, he plays on the left, has to cut inside every time, and his passing inside just wasn't very good at all. What I might be being, I don't know, a bit too harsh. But what do you think? What do you think?
I think he did try to attack, but we were just rubbish at it. Like Bissouma was terrible. Pape Sarr was bang average. Brennan Johnson, after the first 5 minutes, went missing. Son never got service, but he also never got into the game. But he's not a Harry Kane player when he does drop deep, but he could have. He didn't.
super critical. What do you make of Brennan Johnson as a player?
Yeah, I think, look, he's someone who carries a lot of pace. For me, I saw even before he joined Spurs when he was playing for Nottingham Forest, he found it really difficult to finish his dinner. One-on-one situations, doesn't look really confident in front of goal to an oncoming goalkeeper. But look, obviously, Ange thinks that we need that injection of pace. But what gets me is that we never play him in behind. Like he comes in down the wing, but then he reverts to cut back in, pass the ball back, pass it in. He's not really taking his man on. And against Wolves, he didn't really run it down the line or anything. He didn't take his man on, which I was expecting him to. And I just thought Dawson had a really easy game against him, if I'm being honest with you. Him and Son. You know, every time he just squeezed them down the line and then he won the ball. Our ball went out of play. So for me, it's all well and good having the pace, but if we're not utilising it, using that pace to play him in behind, then what are we using him for? Don't get me wrong, it was good that he found a space to get into the box. It was a really good play. But can he sustain that through the 90 minutes? Can he make those runs constantly? He just didn't, for me. It's not really him. The whole team sort of reverted back to the defensive.
I'm not putting any blame, by the way, on Brennan Johnson. I just from the summer, lots of people were saying that this was the number one choice. And Will, I'll bring you in here if that's all right. What do you make of it? Because for me, I said when we bought in Brennan Johnson, I get it. If he wants lightning quick, cool. Brennan Johnson is rapid. But do you think him being on the left is the right thing to do? Because I feel like you take away all his game, which is stretching the pitch, beating a man and driving at goal. Now we just got him doing exactly what Coglou does, but on the left-hand side. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be more, right? It's, and I understand that, Son's been here the longest. He's the captain, so people blame him. But, like, the guy had 0 touches in our box that entire game. 0. Right? Not a single one. 95% of his touches were in the middle third of the park. So why are our wingers not able to find our striker? Because Brendan Johnson and Kulusevski both had touches in the final third. There's multiple times when Kulusevski, if you remember, he was driving up that right-hand side and lost the ball in the box, probably at least 2 or 3 times.
Don't. He gets me angry.
Standing right there, right? Like, play a ball across the face of goal. Like, do something with it. Brennan Johnson's not that bad, but again, it being his weak, he's a right-footed player and he's trying to cut back inside to be able to use his strong foot. He's not Heung-min Son, who can play equally with his left or his right. Son can put a ball across the face of goal with his left foot if he's playing on the left, or he can do it on the right. But that's the thing. For me, you have to find Son. That's what this whole system is about. Drive to the byline, make that 6 to 7 yard pass back to the center spot, and set the striker up. I mean, that's what James Maddison does because the wingers don't do it. I mean, how many times have you seen James Maddison underlap, go to the byline, and play that ball back to Son? And how many times has that resulted in a goal? More times than not, right? So, and when other players have done it, Solomon did it a couple times before he got injured. And look,
so why is he not doing it? Why is he not playing Brennan Johnson on his correct side? It just, £47 million, our biggest signing of the summer in terms of transfer fee. And we've seen him, I mean, how many minutes can anyone remember seeing him on the right? I think about 10 versus Sheffield United.
Yeah, it was before Solomon got injured. I mean, I think the original plan was for him to be a backup player to Kulusevski, right? And Solomon, Son, Perisic over on the left-hand side. But I think just situationally, it just hasn't worked out for him. Hopefully, when he does get a chance to play on the right, he's better than Kulusevski, and he can make those passes easier and find people. For people that aren't strong on their weak foot, it's hard for them to turn their body in that direction and play that pass, effectively or confidently, right? And when you lack confidence, your decision making slows down, right? So. When you're worried, when you come up for it and they go, you're worried about your weak foot, it slows down your decision making, and that's just the way it is. I mean, I don't think there's much we can do other than Postecoglou, like I said, moving the players around. Like for me, this coming week, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but it's valid to this point that I'm trying to make here with this particular game in this situation, is drop Kulu into that Maddison role, right? Have Porro play on the right, Brennan Johnson on the left, right? And then maybe you might see, because Porro's going to find Son. I mean, he created the most key passes. He had 2. Son had 1. Those are the only people that created chances the entire game. Porro 2 from the left, and Son. That was it. So,
I agree with you. I mean, Perchy, before we move on from Tottenham Wolves, I suppose, to looking forward to Aston Villa and some of the other subjects we've got. Will's got a point. I think a lot of us were talking all week about, right, what happens about Maddison? You know, who goes in there? This is good. Is it? Everyone's been saying Kulu can play there. You know, the Celso, don't sell him in the summer. He's got to play there. Then when it turns into Papasar, Højbjerg and Bissouma, you know, when you just think to yourself, oh, God, like we're defeated before we started. Is Will right? Does Kulu need to drop in there? Or do you think the Celso needs to for the Villa game?
It's a good point, because the thing is what we were all told in the summer when I said, this guy's Lo Celso, this is, by the way, he's rubbish, get rid of him. Everyone's going, no. He's the one that will cover for Maddison. And then we've lost Maddison, and then this guy can't even get half an hour on the pitch, right? I mean, he only played about 20 minutes the other day. And I just sit back and just go, listen, I haven't got any reason for Kulu going down as a 10. Don't mind it. I haven't seen him do it, but at least try something a little bit different, right?
He did it for the second half. That's how.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. But I'm on about like starting like there and from the beginning and stuff, like, in a sense. I get that he's moved there in a certain aspect, but I just want to see a little bit different. And I thought it worries me that the whole Lo Celso thing, that he might as well sell him then. If we're not going to use him, why do we keep a hold of him? We had bids for this guy. Why do we keep a hold of this fella? Like, I just get a little bit frustrated. The lineup, as I said, frustrated me. I don't even mind Kulu going in down the middle. I don't mind if it's Lo Celso, but we've got to find an answer, because we had no creativity without those players. It is a big worry.
Okay, well, look, we're using that in mind then, and I'll start with you, Stel, on this. I want to talk about this. This has been a debate I've seen on a number of channels and people talking about is who is the bigger miss, VDV or Maddison? And there's lots of school of thought there's arguments for both of them. One, if you're going to play a high line, you need a Mickey van der Ven. You need a player that can do that. Equally, if you're going to play this high pressing style of football where both your wingers cut in and you've got no real ammunition coming from the wings, James Maddison is your everything. And I think we saw that the other day, that James Maddison is all our creativity. So are they, I mean, for me, equally, they're both a big miss. But for me, James Maddison just edges it purely because we're back to the last 4 years without a creative force in the team.
I don't think you're right. I don't think it just edges it. I think you've made it really easy. I don't think it edges it at all. I think Maddison,
I think he smashes
it massively. Let's be fair. Let's be honest here. Did we lose the game against Wolves because we had Darren Davis at centre half? No. We lost the game because we didn't score goals. Let's be fair with it. We didn't score goals. That's the reason we lost the game.
Wolves,
but that's what I mean. We didn't create anything.
Wolves had 17 shots, 8 on. I think Wolves.
But still,
that's where we lost it.
No, we lost. If Wolves
were more clinical, that would have been 5 goals.
But that's my point, right?
Even with Maddison, we don't score 5, Perchy. We've scored maybe. What's the most we've scored this season other than Burnley?
I know, but I don't think we would have allowed. But I don't think we would have allowed Wolves to have as much of the ball as they had. I don't think we would have done. I could be wrong here, but I don't think we would have.
I disagree with this. I disagree with this because if you look at us this season, by the way, I think they're equally as big a miss, but. I would slightly edge Van der Ven. The reason being, for years and years and years, we kept saying, sort this bloody defence out. Sort this freaking... And the one time we sort this defence out, we go top of the table. Okay, we've had some lucky moments. But I think the way Ange plays, everything starts from the back. Everything happens from the back line, playing out, creating the overload midfield, and away we go. This season, other than Burnley, I don't think we've scored more than 2 goals in a game.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but that's not on Maddison, is it? If you look at it, Stel, we can say that just to counteract that point. We can say, yeah, we sorted out defence and we go top. But equally, for 4 or 5 years, we've been saying we need a playmaker. We need someone with the creativity so that Harry Kane doesn't have to drop back and do it. What we saw on the pitch for the first time since Kane left, what we saw on the pitch on Saturday, was it Saturday morning? Can't even remember what day it is. What is it? Yeah. The first time what we saw on Saturday was we didn't have a Kane or a Maddison on the pitch. There's no one capable of creating. There's no one. Hang on. There's no one that gets the ball in the final third and they look up for an early pass. They look up to play people in.
I hear you, but you know what? The thing is, that defense, we had the second or third best defensive record in the league. I just think when you've got Dogi, Van der Ven, Romero, and Vicario, we were a much more solid team. We were harder to break down. Of course, we give away chances. Every team gives away chances in games. But for me, that Luton game, we've gone 1-0 up. We don't win that without Van der Ven and Romero. And, of course, Luton missing a few chances. But
we also don't win that without James Maddison being the only creative spark and creative for Van der Ven.
Then I think the answer is it's equal. Without Maddison, you're right. We lack all creativity. But without Van der Ven, we haven't got the pace at the back. His tackling has been superb this season. Van der Ven's tackling has been exceptional. And I think in the area he's been decent. I think the common denominator is that we can take a lot more risks with a settled back four. If the back four is operating, perfectly, if they're doing well, we can take a lot more risks. We can do the more daring passes, take more risks in the final third, because if we lose the ball, we've got Van der Ven there, we've got Romero there. But with this defense, it's difficult, because if you lose the ball, you've got Dyer and you've got Davies at the back, much more susceptible to conceding goals.
But guys, what I would add on here, though, we were conceding chances with Romero and Van der Ven at the back. We've been conceding chances against him. I think we try and make out
that every team concedes chances.
That's but we were conceding low. I think since the Arsenal game.
Which game did we concede loads? Up in Liverpool.
Hang on, I've got some stats. Hang on, don't worry.
I think since the Arsenal game, I think we've conceded a lot of chances to teams.
Right,
but the teams we've played against can't score finish their dinner.
We missed loads of chances as well, so it's the same on the other end.
But that's my point, though. We have, without James Maddison, we create nothing. Where were the chances we created against?
What good is it if he creates and we don't score those chances?
But then flip it. What good is it if they defend if we can't create and score chances?
Yeah,
isn't it the same thing?
Listen, this is gonna be like tennis here. You knock it back, I knock it back. I think both of them are key to an Ange system.
I agree.
Listen, Van der Ven, everyone this season has been saying best defender in the league for a lot of people. But at the same time, a lot of people have been saying Maddison, signing of the season as well. So I think they're both crucial. I think they've both been unbelievable players for us this season.
Can I give some stats? Can I give some stats and facts, right? So we're talking,
Will's got his own as well.
I'm sure he has. And sorry, I'm not coming to you, Will, because of stats and facts, but just because Stel brought up there about let's have a look at the number of chances conceded against Wolves as opposed to before. And yeah, in that Wolves game, we conceded 17 chances, right? 17 chances in that Wolves game. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, hang on. Right. So Crystal Palace, we conceded 13 chances. That was with
how many clear cuts, Savva?
Yeah. But we can do that all day long. Like how many were clear cut?
He's got a point, right? Because somebody taking a shot from 40 yards out.
If you shoot from 40 yards, it's a chance, isn't it?
No, I hear you, but we could say that with Wolves in the Wolves game as well, can't we? Right. So we conceded 13 attempts against Crystal Palace. We conceded 22 chances against Man United. We conceded 12 chances against Fulham. We conceded 13 attempts to Luton.
All right, so
hang on. The actual difference from this to the Wolves game, the drop-off wasn't that huge.
All right,
but the drop-off...
Yeah.
Hang on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Sorry, yeah,
But the actual drop-off, they showed it on Sky Sports the other day from this game and all the minutes since Maddison comes off the pitch this season. The drop-off in chances created by Spurs, touches in the opposition box, driving into the forward third, the drop-off goes from there to there with everything without Maddison.
But clear-cut chances skyrockets once Van de Ven and Romero out. That's what I'm saying. Look at that one as well.
How many clear-cut chances did Wolves have? Can we think of many clear-cut?
No,
I
what
thought
did
they-
the stats say?
There was a couple with Chan.
I would say they had two that they should have scored.
I saw 6 or 7. I saw
Wayne
6.
Heath
I'm on
should have
about
scored at least
absolute
three.
sitters here. Depends what we're calling clear cut.
Wait, a sitter's an open goal, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but they should have. They
Four big
clear
chances.
cut is one-on-one with the goalie, where you're under no
Okay,
pressure. Just hit the target.
whatever the stats say.
Wolves
Let's see
had
what the
4
stats
big
say.
chances that game.
Sure. I also remember Fulham. Yeah, I also remember Fulham having some ridiculous chances on our goal. Like to the point where you were going, if Fulham could finish their dinner. Luton had clear-cut chances against us. Liverpool ripped us apart before they went down to 9 men, whatever happened in that game. I'm just trying to make the debate that without James Maddison, I don't know how we score goals. Son scoring
I
them.
agree. Savva,
No, I know. I'm not saying you don't agree, but my point is, I'm trying to think back to all of these games we played, right? When Arsenal, James Maddison created both chances for Son. Liverpool, James Maddison created the chance for Son. Van de Ven's goal against Luton, James Maddison created it. James Maddison created in the first game. In the second game against Man United, James Maddison. I just truly worry that without Maddison, I think we're a very bang average football team again. I truly, sorry, I know that sounds harsh. I don't think I'm going to enjoy watching us without James Maddison. That's sorry, Will.
There's a massive creativity drop off. 100%.
Sure.
No question of a doubt.
Well, I mean, it comes from the fact, and I know you guys, don't like to talk about Son that often, but in the first 3 games when he was playing from the left, Son was actually creating more chances than James Maddison was. They just weren't getting finished by Richarlison. And then obviously moving to the center, he scored 8 goals in 11 appearances up top. So not even 11, 9 appearances up top. So 8 goals and 9 appearances up top. Most of those have come through Maddison, and his chance creation has dropped significantly because he's playing through the middle now. He's not a wide player. The problem is that chance creation that we were getting from our wide players is still non-existent. This system, if you look at Postecoglou when he managed at Celtic, his 2 wide players almost had 10 goals and 10 assists. Like the amount of assists that the wide players garnered in those particular seasons was insane. And right now, none of our, other than Solomon, who got 2 Son in 1 game, doing that exact thing that I was talking about. Kulusevski has 2, but he's kind of been lucky, just, blind balls across the face of the box and somebody at the back post has finished, put him in. I mean, it's the creativity from our wide players needs to be increased.
James Will, I'm with you on this, right? I've been saying all year I don't like our wide options, and this is why I'm so torn. I prefer Son down the middle. I think he's better down the middle than out wide left. But I'm also torn with the fact that we need to get another goal scorer in there, and that might mean Son going back to the left.
Yeah,
because
playing through the middle.
Wide men are poor.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather have Son play down the middle right now because we're doing that. But if we can't find somebody else who can score, because if you look at the number of chances that Maddison and Son created in those first 3 games, that's when we looked the most electric. That's when we had like 20, 30 shots, right? 7 or 8 of those chances were from Son. 5 or 6 of them were from Maddison, but we weren't scoring goals because the striker couldn't finish. So I think if we were to go in January and get a person like Jimenez or something like that, then moving Son back out to the left, at least in the short term, isn't as bad deal as everybody's making it out to be, because at least he's creating from that position. He's not creating from the striker position, although on the day he was created more than anybody else did that day. It's still not high numbers, right? Because there was no service. I don't know if you guys have seen it rolling around Twitter or not, but there's that pass map from the first minute to the 63rd minute, and not a single ball was played into Son in the center. It's pass.
Oh, yeah, there's
the
no-
sun sitting in an island.
Yeah.
So that was for the first.
Yeah, there's
63
no
minutes of the game.
there's no creativity for him. Again, without James Maddison putting balls through to him. And this is what has, let me bring you in here. This is why when, again, when people were talking about winning league titles, etc., again, we're one James Maddison injury away from nobody on that pitch being able to find Son. Like, for all of the, like, obviously you and I used to laugh on the watch-alongs, Has, when it was, used to hate it when I used to go, Kulu, and he's cut in. Kulu, and he's cut in. Brennan Johnson now just cuts in. Solomon, let's be honest, Solomon's okay. Solomon's a typical rotation
Squad player, isn't he?
Squad player. Brian Hill, he's not good enough. Perisic is old now, and we knew this was his last year anyway before his injury. I think this is a massive problem. That front three for me does not work.
Yeah. At the moment, you've got to say, without any sort of that, without having that spark there to ignite the front three, it's just not working, because that front three haven't got the spark to ignite themselves. So, obviously Maddison, he was doing a lot of the work, coming out wide on the wings, cutting in, squaring the ball in. None of that's happening at the moment. How many times, we're saying Kulu down the right, cuts it back in. So predictable. If you look at, it'd be interesting to have a look at Maddison's heat map, exactly where he's on the pitch throughout the 90 minutes or however long he's playing, because he gets forward, he goes out wide, he drops deep. And sometimes I look at him and I think this guy is moving around the pitch just like Harry Kane did, when he was at the club. Kane would drop deep, pick up the ball, spray a 50-yard pass or whatever. Maddison, exactly the same, And now we've got the same issue, because before it was like, well, without Kane's creativity, we've got nothing. We've lost Maddison now. Without Maddison's creativity, we've got nothing. But we need to find a different way of playing for these sort of scenarios. We said we've got players like Brennan Johnson, who's got absolutely blistering pace. So why not play him in behind? Why not use his pace and play in a different way? Where you won't need to rely on the creativity of Maddison. You won't miss it as much. Son down the middle, I think, even I looked back last week and I said, he had a quiet game. He didn't play well, this, that, and the other. Yes, probably the stats back it up to suggest that the ball wasn't passed to him as much as it should have been. But, I just feel like there are other options on the pitch. And is this down to sort of Ange's naivety, because he wants to play a certain way and he's not willing to adapt according to the players that we have at the club? Is it down to that, or is it because I don't want to be that club again where we're now relying on one player? You look at all the other top six clubs, right? You name me one of the top six or top five clubs that only rely on one player for creativity. If we go to Manchester City,
Arsenal.
they've got 4 or 5 players that can all easily create. They can do things. Arsenal, they've got a couple of players. They've got I know Odegaard,
Trossard, Saka, Martinelli,
Exactly.
Odegaard.
Yeah, but this
They've got
season, none of those
options.
players are really playing well besides Barsaka, right? So
They're going through
No,
a bit
sure,
of
they're
patch
going
at the
for a
moment,
patch,
though.
but in general, right? In general, they do have options.
You even look at the likes of Chelsea. I know Chelsea are absolutely dog at the moment, right? But they're bringing it together. They've got abundance of players. They've got Nkunku to come back and everyone else. Abundance of players. And then you look at Liverpool, frightening. One goes out, another comes in. We are that club now. Again, Maddison's talisman. If he's out, then we're doomed. It just
well, I mean,
we
and
can't-
guys, I
and
know you
until
guys
we
don't like
change
to hear
this-
too, but
until
if
we
Son goes
change
out
this-
as well, who's finishing Madison's?
Yeah,
the
I mean,
chances
it's
No, I
Madison
agree.
created?
Son as well.
Double the
Son's in
problem.
that conversation
Double
as
the
well.
problem, Will.
No,
If
but
Son
I
goes out-
think Has, tell me if I'm wrong. I think what Has is talking about is not Son scoring the chances. Obviously, we need him there. I think we're talking about getting the ball to that point.
Exactly.
Is for the
Exactly.
last 4 or 5 years, we very much relied on Kane to do that job. We're now relying on Maddison to do that job. And most of the teams that are in the top or in and around the top have multiple players
Exactly.
that
This
will open teams up and create. And I think
This isn't what
Saturday
big
for
clubs
me,
do. This
Yeah.
isn't
Savva,
what big clubs do. Big clubs
Has.
do not rely on one player to get the team going. This is what I'm
Has.
saying. And until we sort that problem out, sorry, Stel, I'll
sorry,
let you
sorry.
go in a second. I'll let you go. I'm saying that big teams have options, and until we sort of have those options, I don't think we can call ourselves one of the big teams. I'm sorry, but I've got to be realistic here.
Has, you know, back in the day when we used to watch football before the way it's become now, for me, one of the most exciting creative wing plays was Chelsea, because they had Damien Duff on one side, Iron Robin on the other. Not only were they, do you know what made them brilliant, Has? It wasn't the fact they could beat a man, score goals, create pace. It's the fact that any moment they could switch flanks and the same would happen.
Bingo.
This is what Spurs lacks. Our wingers, they're not robust enough to be able to switch over and have the same impact.
Agreed.
And I think the managers, and I think that's why the manager keeps playing them in these roles, because they don't have that versatility.
You're
Harry
forgetting one
Kane,
thing.
that's it.
You're forgetting one thing. They are nowhere near on the level of an Iron Robin. I'm sorry.
Of course not. Of course
Nowhere
not.
near.
Yeah.
But the thing is but we say that though. But we're playing Brennan Johnson on his weaker side. You say that they should be. I'll say this now. I think the only reason Brennan Johnson's playing out on the left is because it's to keep Kulu in the team. Because there must be a reason why he doesn't go, do you know what? I'm going to play a right.
We
I'm
don't have
going to play
anybody
right.
to play left wing. That's why.
Why can't Kulu play left wing? Why can't he use his left foot? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Play the right sider on the right and play the left sider on the left and change it up. I think Stel's bang on here. Like, used to back in the day.
Stop giving Stel credit. He loves that.
He gets a little bit. His head just starts getting bigger than the actual box.
Yeah.
But my point being is that
I didn't even get 2 seconds of praise there. I didn't even get
you get a little bit. You get a little bit, and then there'll be all criticism. No, but back in the day, not just Chelsea, by the way. Great example was Chelsea. But back in the day, you always used to see managers go on, switch it around for half an hour, and give the fullback something different to think of. Yeah. I very rarely see it anymore. I think the only real team I see do it is Liverpool. I've seen Liverpool do it on odd occasions where they swap it about a little bit. But for me, what harm is it going to cause us if we give Johnson on the right, Kulu on the left, even if for half an hour into a game, and go, do you know what? Let's try something a little bit different because it's not working it. But we're so resolute in the way we play. We're playing and this is why when we were talking about Johnson and he's not lit up trees, I feel a bit sorry for the kid, because I feel like you've come in and then we've gone, do you know what? We're going to play you on a weaker side that you're not to your strength. Because what is Brennan Johnson's strength? He's got bursting pace. Why do you want to ruin that pace to then slow him down, to then put him onto his stronger foot? Why don't you want to see him on the right, attack left back, and try and get an early cross in or something a bit different?
Can I just say, sorry, Savva, what difference is it between having Sessegnon on and having Brennan Johnson on the left? Because they're both doing the same thing, right? We wanted Sessegnon to get down the line, beat his man, get the cross in. It's almost watching the same thing.
Well, do you know what the problem is with this crossing the ball business, Has? Do we have players in the box that can actually score goals from crosses coming in other than Richie?
Well, when I'm saying crosses,
it doesn't have to be aerial crosses. You can do
not exclusively.
You can
aerial
play
crosses. It
doesn't have to be aerial. You can do something different, right?
Yeah, right. Now, cutbacks. This is the bit I don't understand. If you go back to pre-season, all we did was get down the byline and cutbacks.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That 6 to 8 yard pass back to the center spot.
You can whip it in. You can cut it back. You can, I don't even see our wingers taking on their man, having a shot from the angle. But just quickly, I just want to say, Bao, listen, Bao, thank you very much. Said, hi, chaps. Reality check. We finished 8th and just been here 5 minutes. Exceeded expectations. I mean, I don't think anyone can exceed expectations after 12 games of football. So far, 2 defeats. We are complaining. Bao, you watch YouTube, right? For a reason. It's because you want content creators to put a show on for you. If we literally didn't talk about any of these talking points, there'd be no shows, right? There'd be no shows. So we're not complaining. We're talking about the team. We're talking about how do we go forward. Please don't be that fan that doesn't allow any critical thinking from any kind of football conversation. Otherwise, none of us would have a YouTube channel. All right. So please don't do that. Big up to Sakinelli in the chat, who has said, big up the boys, like and subscribe, people. Come on. Big up to you, Sakinelli. Have a guess who he supports. Or she. Liam said, Savage, do you think Spurs need a winger or a striker in January? I'm going to go with both, by the way. So I don't know why I starred. Just two more I starred. I'm curious why our fans are so confident we beat Villa. We'll come to this, Ryan. I'll come back to this one, mate. Della Spurs is trying to sound as Spanish as Perchy, as El Perchio. I said, I'll say it again. Get Sancho before Juve. Interesting. And Gambling. Big up Gambling has said, thank you very much for the super chat. I said, short term, sure, there's no depth, but long term, we're finally investing. Look at the 16, 17-year-old Croatian player. Look at our under 21s, even the 18s. Gambling, let's talk about that really quickly, guys, so we give the super chat the credit it deserves.
There's a problem with this.
Well, I was going to say, still, it's all well and good, Gambling, but I'll be honest, I don't know about you boys on the chat. I'll come to you guys here. I've heard this for however many years. Look at our under 18s. Marcus Edwards is coming through. This player's coming through. We had who was it that went? Madwiki's coming through. Mundell's coming through.
Where's he at?
Troy Parrott. We had all these players that were coming through, and we were told, "Oh, things are looking good long term." If they're not given a game, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? Stel, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so Gambling, Ange just signed a 4-year contract, which means the 16-year-olds will be 20 years old at the end of his contract. The under 18s will be 21, 22 at the end of his contract. Spurs Academy does not like introducing players until they're 21, unless there's something about them they think they can do it a bit earlier. So for us to see these young players, the fruits of if they're good or not, and needs to sign at least another 2-year extension on his contract. So this is a very, very optimistic thought. And like Savva said, Parrott, Scarlett, I could go on. I could reel them all off. Marcus Edwards, Jack Clark,
Who was the left back that went to Sunderland that everyone raved about?
Dennis Churkin.
Dennis Churkin, Charlie Sayers, Carl Walker Peters. Yeah, like we've heard
Carter's
this a lot.
Vickers,
Listen, I'm not knocking you. By the way, Gambling. I agree. In theory, it looks great, but for me, I think in the short term, even in the long term, you've got to be buying that depth. We can't just keep saying the youngsters are going to come through.
Fix the first team. Fix the first team first is what we want. Sure,
agreed. Yeah.
What I would say on that though, I've got nothing wrong with us buying youngsters, but I think we have to. I think what we all do. We all do this thing and about we're buying these kids and stuff. We should be doing that. But do you know what we shouldn't be? It shouldn't be mass reported. Does that in the sense of we're signing this young Croatian kid? Great. Other football teams do it. Chelsea do it all the time. Man City do it. We should be doing that. But what we should also be doing is strengthening the first team. The first team's the priority in a sense of it. But you should be going around picking up 16, 17-year-old kids that are exceeding expectation in other smaller divisions and bringing them into your academy, because that's how you grow progressively. But you can't neglect the first team at all.
Perchy, what is the point of signing Ashley Phillips, who I think will get his chance in the next year or two? What is the point of that signing when right now we didn't have another centre-back ready for the first team when we get an injury? And that's where I think a lot of us come from. Buy Ashley Phillips, like you said, but get Tapsoba as well then. So there's a proper backup.
You do both.
Otherwise, you've got to play Ashley Phillips. If he's not, it's...
Still, you're spot on. You do both.
Right.
You should be buying Phillips, but you should also be buying the Tapsobas as well to strengthen the first team, right? That's how a proper football club operates, right?
But it's There's a couple comments in the chat too that like you got GBC saying we don't have a target man. Postecoglou doesn't play with a target man. Look at the striker that he had at Celtic. He's like 5'8".
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
up my
Right?
height.
He's not. He didn't score a goal with his head the whole entire season, right? And he scored 30+ goals, right? He's not a target man. And HJD's got it right. We have scored a lot of at 9 o'clock. We have scored from cutbacks a lot this season. That's because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I'm saying. Kulusevski isn't doing those cutbacks even when he has the opportunity. And that's what does my head in with him, right? It's not the fact that he's not whipping balls across the box from outside of the box or that, or whatever. He has the opportunity to do cutback passes, right? From the byline to the center spot, right? It's one of the most dangerous passes in football. And he doesn't do it.
Listen, if I talk about Kulusevski, we're gonna move on here. But if I talk about Kulusevski, I get myself in all sorts of trouble. I'm just so underwhelmed, and I'm so bored of hearing that he holds the ball up. At what point are we getting
Son once this whole season?
No. But even I mean, there was one chance again, Perchy, when we were doing the watch along, and he had so much grass to run into. And I was always taught as a youngster that if you're a winger and you've got grass to run into, that's your dream. Run into it. Run.
Oh,
You've got grass, run. He gets grass to run into, and his first thought is never drive at goal. His first thought is run, stop, cut back, turn inside. And it's like, I watch all these other teams over the weekend. I know I'm taking this to the nth degree, right? But I watched Foden and Doku every time they get the ball. They're trying, even if they're cutting in, they're driving in. It's not that they just cut in, they're driving in with the ball. I watch Villa do it with their wide men. Martinelli and Saka will try and mix it up and go on the outside or the inside. I think we've become so predictable with how these two wide men play that teams are figuring it out, and very quickly as well.
Sorry,
Stel, I'll let you
go.
The other bit that really bothers me is I call this is where, in a sense, you could argue this is where I feel stats can be misleading with Kulusevski, because you could go, oh, he retains the ball really well, but I sit there and go, but he doesn't when he retains the ball, that's great, but I call him a really, really safe player. But sometimes it's all well and good being that player, but then I see him go on, do something a bit different. You might lose possession because you've tried something a bit different, or you've tried to be a bit more brave and daring, but you never see him. He gets the ball. And talking of the point that you made was when he was out on that right-hand side and he had the whole width to run into. And then what happened? He got there and you went, you've just slowed up the game again. Like, try something a bit different. Run past it. Even if you cut back in and you use that to whip in an in-swinging ball into the back post or something different. But I always just find his game plan is very, very safe.
All 8 goals of Son this season have come from a cutback. In fact, I'm looking at them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Most of those were from Maddison, though, as well.
Well, Manor Solomon's twice, Richarlison twice, Pedro Porro a couple of times. James Maddison has actually only assisted Son twice.
Oh, right.
Believe it or not, this season. But all of them have come from cutbacks, and not a single one's come from Kulusevski.
Hang on, didn't he do 2 versus Arsenal and 1 versus Liverpool for Sonny? I'm pretty sure.
No, he didn't do the general. He played it into Richarlison. Richarlison played it to Son in one of those. He had the assist to the assist.
Okay.
I don't think,
or GC is what those are.
I don't think a 4-3-3 suits Kulusevski personally. I think it works for him. I think when we had Conte, it was a.
But that first season under Conte, when he first came to the club in the January window, he assisted Son 5 times with cutbacks. Every single one was a cutback in that season, right?
Yeah, but we played 3 at the back with Conte, didn't we?
Huh?
With Conte, we played a different system.
Right, but I'm talking about at the front. Once you're getting into the final third, regardless of your formation, it doesn't matter. Son was drifting into that center spot area as Harry Kane was going into the 6-yard box.
I think the space opens up.
Diagonal ball from the byline to Son.
Yeah.
Will,
I think 5 times.
I think the space opens up differently though. Like for me, with Conte's system, the setup works slightly better for Kulu. For me personally, I think for Kulu, with the players we've currently got now, a 4-1-4-1 would be perfect, because then you've got 4 in the middle, so you don't have to drop back. You got four in the middle, which gives you a bit more of an overload and it makes him more of a wing as opposed to a front man. And just play 1 DM, 1 striker, and then 4 across the middle. I personally, and also by doing that, you encourage the overlap for Porro more. But the way we're playing now, I think Kulu personally, I think he plays a bit too high up. I think he's better off deeper driving.
But still, even when he gets the ball like on the halfway line, and you're thinking, "Go on, drive!" Like you've got grass to run into. Like for me, I think the problem that we have is Perchy hit the nail on the head just now. It's also predictable and safe. Like there's never a moment where he does something and you go, "Oh yeah." Like he never does. Like don't get me wrong, that little flick to set up Porro to the cross, great. But I'm talking about as a winger running at your fullback. Guys, we've all played the game. If you were a left back, are you worried about playing? You're not worried about playing against Kulusevski, are you? Be honest. You're not worried.
I'll tell you one player that I'd like to see out on the right, and this might be controversial for some. Some might really call me for this choice of player, but I would like to see Porro, because for me, Porro is very direct. He's got pace. He can take his man on, and he's got a wicked cross on him. He's got very accurate crossing. I wouldn't be averse to seeing Kulu in the middle at some point whilst Maddison's out, Porro on the right, and then, as much as I hate to say, Emerson out on Emerson right back, better defensively, in my opinion, than Porro at right back. Just my take on it, though. But I think Porro could do a real job on that right wing in place of Kulusevski.
Porro wants to run at people and put the ball in the box.
Exactly.
Doesn't it? He wants to run
exactly.
At people. Yeah,
exactly. But this is the thing. Is that what the manager wants, though? That's the problem.
If you play Porro on the right wing, who goes right back?
I just said Emerson.
Then who goes left? Udogie. Okay.
Udogie.
Well,
all right.
if Udogie's not injured, then yes, Udogie. But
so we're thinking. So from a defensive perspective, Emerson and Porro on the same side, for me, managers will target that side of the pitch that we play against, because they both can't defend, in my opinion.
I get it.
I think people are targeting that side of the pitch already. If you watch in the last 4 or 5 games, especially, everyone's attacking Porro because he can't defend. I'm sorry, I'll have that debate with anyone. He cannot defend. Going forward, go on, mate.
A lot of people put down Porro's stats today. It came out that he has done the most tackles. Right, I'll caveat that by saying he's the most dribbled past right back in the Premier League as well. So that obviously makes sense, right? If he's dribbled past,
he puts the most tackles in because he's caught out of position most times.
Well, because he's dribbled past.
It's always recovery tackles. I've noticed.
Exactly, it's recovery tackles. That's why. So everyone, going on about he's put the most tackles in. He's a good defender. No, he gets dribbled past all the time. He's the most dribbled past player in the Premier League. Hence why he's got the most tackles.
Has, do you know what? I remember the game against Palace, and I thought, oh my God, they're targeting him. He was awful. And I remember they switched the wingers to have another go at him, right? Then against Chelsea, I just thought Sterling had him on toast. I thought Sterling knew each and every time, I'm going past you because you can't defend and you're positionally bad. Then against Wolves, I was more worried about Royale. But everything Wolves did, most of what they did in that first half, all went down Pedro Porro's wing, because he is always out of position and he can't defend. And this is where when people come out with this crap, like he's got the most tackles, it's like, but there's context to that. There's got to be context to that. For me, that's the weakest part of our pitch, is him at right back and Kulu at right wing.
Well,
I think you've got
the most dribbled pass player in the Premier League.
Porro or Kulu?
Kulu's the second, Porro's the first.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that kind of tells the story when we say that our right hand side gets absolutely attacked on all the time, right?
So
How the fuck are we top of the league?
we were playing against teams that we were top of the league because we were beating teams that we probably should have been doing.
I mean, you got the two most dribble past players on the same side of the pitch.
Well, it's because everybody's coming down that side, right? That's where the attack is from. So the volume, it's an average of 2 per game. They're dribble past twice per game, basically.
But this is why I'm saying it makes more sense to have Porro further up the pitch on the right wing. Yeah, where even if someone gets past him or he loses the ball up top, you've got more of a defensive cover at right back. I believe Emerson's a better defender than Porro at right back. And I don't rate Emerson at all. You know my feelings on him, Savva.
Somewhere Barry's ears are going, what?
I'm hoping that's a trigger. He'll come into the chat now. But for me, I think it just makes sense. Utilize, we've got to start utilizing these players' attributes at the end of the day. What we do know is Porro can cross the ball in. He can take his man on. For now, I don't see why we just don't try something different.
So I'll ask you then, if you're advocating, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. If you're advocating Pedro Porro on the right, which I don't completely disagree with, are we then still saying that Brennan Johnson then still plays out of position on the left? Or let me throw something at you. What about Pedro Porro on the right, Brennan Johnson down the middle, and putting Sonny back to the left? So then you've got some pure pace through the middle. Sonny's left-footed on the left, and Brennan Johnson, dare I say, is right-footed on the right. And you've got 3 people that all offer something in their positions.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with you on that. It's something different. You're trying something different at the end of the day. They all bring different things to the table. They've all got different attributes. Brennan Johnson's got his pace. Porro's got his excellent crossing abilities. Son, he'll finish his dinner every 9 times out of 10 if he's given the chance. So, yeah, I think it needs to be mixed up. But for me, that right-hand side is a problem. It gets targeted. We talk about this week in, week out. Now...
Do you honestly think, no matter what Ange does with the players he's got at the moment, we realistically got, a confident chance? I just feel no matter what this manager does, until he gets close to the kind of squad he wants, it's just going to be very much like this for a good year.
I agree.
But still, isn't lose? That's what I was about to say.
What have you got to lose if you're doing what you're doing now and it's not working? What have you got to lose if you change it up a bit?
Well, this is the time to gamble, isn't it? Right? Let's gamble.
All right, let's put a reality check on it. The Chelsea game was an anomaly. 2 men down, our best 2 players.
Yeah,
okay, let's just put that one in the back burner. Wolves, we went into that game concerned, and in the end, we were right. Should we not give it maybe 4, 5, 6 games and say, right, you've given it a go. You've given the players 5 or 6 games to show us that they can adapt and that they can do it. Now it's not working. And can we have a change? Are we jumping too soon, guys? Here, are we going to be too soon?
I think it was coming before
5 or 6
that.
games will be 10th.
But hang on, guys, don't you think?
Yeah, but we predicted 8th or 7th at the start of the season, didn't we?
No,
yeah, we did. But Perchy,
when you come here, you can't just all of a sudden go back down there.
Isn't half of this though, guys, that it'd been coming?
I agree.
Like
you shouldn't. I agree.
Let's be honest. We're talking as though the games before Chelsea we were really good. We weren't. We were scraping through games, not playing that well. And I think this is half the issue. Is when I was saying things like that. Obviously, people are like, "Don't worry, we're winning and it's positive and it's great." But I could see this coming. We were saying this is coming. We are not playing well. Teams are getting at us. Sooner or later, this is going to give in. Now, yes, Stel, you are right. The Chelsea game is an anomaly. Yeah, the Wolves game, I thought we were absolutely shocking. We've now got Villa that we're going to talk about in a minute. Then Man City, then West Ham, who are absolutely fantastic, by the way, with set pieces against the likes of who we've got. For me, I don't think this is about giving it another 5 or 6 games. I think he's got to find something different, Perchy, to mix it up. We look predictable.
Yeah,
but that's the bit. So that's the bit for me, right? We are really predictable at the moment. The thing is for me, what I would say is I don't really like using the terminology, but it's a free hit in a sense this season. I said it. It's why I said, and I still haven't changed my theory that as long as we don't get relegated, I don't care where we finish because it's going to take a long time. Why not give it a bit of a gamble, shuffle it a little bit? Because I think what Savva, I have you right in the bit of we are really predictable. Let's be honest. We know what the lineup's going to be against Aston Villa, barring injuries and barring suspension. So let's be honest. We know it's going to be Vicario, Porro, Dyer, Davis, Royale, Saar, no bissouma, so Højbjerg probably will put in Lo Celso. Then it will be Kulusevski, Son, Johnson. I can already guarantee you that will be the lineup. Maybe one or two slightly change. But the fact is why not change it up a little bit? Put Kulu as a 10 and go, let's put Johnson on the right. Listen, I'm not his massively biggest fan, but put Brian Hill on the left or put Son on the left and put Valise down the middle. Change it up. Try something a little bit different.
Right. Just so I can understand, okay? This isn't a criticism. It's just a question for everyone. Are we now shifting from let Ange instill his philosophy and his way, and then the wins will come at some point in the future as long as the board keep buying his players?
Yeah.
Have we now shifted from that to Ange? We want wins now.
No,
I don't. Both.
No. Stel,
But Will, what if, like Arteta, the process, you got to take hits until he installs what he wants, and they make the errors which we're going to have to learn from in the process. Are we shifting from that?
I don't rate Arteta. So I don't want our club to be based on that. I don't want our players going.
I'm using an example.
The process.
It's an example, isn't it?
Like he came eighth, and then second or fifth, second. Whatever.
Yeah, but we're not that team. We're not the team that finished fifth, sixth, fifth, eighth, fifth, second. Right? That's not.
We are without the players that are injured.
We are. We finished 8th last season, right? So we could be starting
fourth. Right, 7th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. Right, we're not the team that's finished 5th, 6th, 5th, 8th, 8th, 5th, 2nd in the last 7 years. That's not us. It bothers me to death when people start comparing us to Arsenal in that vein. Right, they were a lot further down the table, a lot lower quality of players than we had.
But Will, you said otherwise. You said you think we'd beat Wolves last game, right?
And we almost did.
And I, by fortune, because they missed chances. But nonetheless, we lost. And I said, I'm really worried about this game.
Years missed chances. So it's not fortunate if it happens continually.
Okay, but you said we would win. And I said, I don't see us beating Wolves. I think it's going to be a close game. I just don't see it with the players we've got. And it kind of ended up being that way. It could have easily not have been. So I'm not going to claim some kind of victory here. But for me, with the players we've got right now, I just want to know where we're at as a club. Are we going to just say, right, let Ange get on with it and judge further down the line because wins are going to be very, very difficult now? Or are we saying, Ange, change this? We want the wins now because that's kind of how it feels. This conversation is going.
Hold on. Ange Postecoglou has said with his own mouth, right, that he doesn't change the playing style and or philosophy, but he does change the players' positional roles because he plays a total football type of a style where no player has a fixed position, right? They're able to rotate in their triangles and come in and out of position and places. Correct or not correct? So what I'm saying, it's not changing your philosophy to take Kulusevski off the right wing and put him in the 10, put Porro in the right wing and put Brian Hill on the pitch, or move Son back out left. Brilliant. That's not changing your philosophy. It's simply rotating the pieces within the philosophy, and that's what Ange Postecoglou's already said with his own mouth that he does.
100% agree. I 100% agree with Will.
And he changed it with the players he brought against Wolves. I never saw the philosophy.
It didn't work. Pat Maddison, right. 10 role didn't work, did it?
Okay, so the point is, you're saying keep changing the pieces on the pitch around until we get a win and the philosophy comes through.
I don't think it's until we get the win. I think it's until
the style clicks.
Yeah, until the style clicks. Because what you're forgetting, Stel, is that at the moment it's a free hit. We're all jumping down a little bit because of where we are in the league. Yeah,
and these players can't play that style. We've seen it in the past. They can't string a pass together this long.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got to work with what he's got now, though, Stel.
Maddison and Son have come off the pitch in games at around the 16th, 17th minute. We have seen Kulusevski in the 10 role before at Sheffield United when we were down 1-0 and we ended up winning that game because of Kulusevski's creativity in that role. So why would you not then logically say, okay, Maddison's out. I've got Porro. Udoji's back. I can shift Emerson over to the right. You can throw Porro up on the right-hand side or Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side and Brian Hill on the left. Brian Hill is horrible. But listen, if nobody's finding Son, we ain't scoring goals and we ain't winning games. And if we want, the whole point of the season is we have to keep getting points. We can't just say, all right, Van der Ven, Romero are gone and Maddison are out till January. Screw it. We'll just lose the next 4 or 5 games. We can't do that, right? That's not responsible.
You know, I'm not
still have
saying
to try
do
to
that.
win games.
No, I get that, but I just don't see how that happens when Dyer, Davies, Porro, Chicken Rail, Højbjerg play.
You don't have to play Dyer.
Who'd you play then, Will?
You can play Ashley Phillips. You don't have to play
He's
Dyer.
not ready. He's not ready.
It doesn't matter if he's. Well, it's time to get ready.
Well, that's not how it works, though.
It is how it works.
It's not because
Harry
you
Kane got
were the
thrown in.
biggest critic. You were the biggest critic of our academy, saying they're not
and
good
Ashley
enough.
Phillips is not an academy prospect. We bought him this summer for this exact
And he plays
purpose.
for the academy in the under-21s, right?
Because that's where he can get game time to continue his development at 18.
Well, he
but
could have gone on
wasn't bought
loan
for
like
that.
Saliba did. He could have gone on loan like Saliba did, right? But
We
they
had already
chose not
loaned out
to.
our maximum
Yeah,
amount
but
of
we
players
didn't
because
have the resources to send him out on loan, though, Stel. Who did we have to? We didn't bring in another defender to be able to send him out on loan. That's the issue.
Well, we had
only
Sanchez,
brought Van der
but we
Ven-
sold him.
And I don't
Exactly.
think you can loan a player that you've bought
We sold Sanchez
in
and
unless
we
it's
left
in the
ourselves
contract.
short. We only had Van der Ven and Romero as our centre back pairing. We didn't
Right.
bring anyone else with experience,
Yeah.
but we've ended up bringing in Phillips. So
Right.
how?
So,
can
no,
we
that's
then
I
say
agree.
we're gonna send you out on loan?
We've left ourselves short, which is a club failure. And the solution to that is play Phillips, who isn't ready.
Why isn't
Like,
he ready? You're assuming he's not ready.
He would have started him, Will. There's no reason not to start him if he's ready. None at
Sure
all.
there is. Eric Dyer's
What?
got seniority. Eric Dyer's been crying and moaning and pitching, and for the sake of keeping
Then
some
Andy's a weak manager.
Hold on.
Andy's
No,
a
it's
very
called
weak
man
manager.
management. Look, if you have a scab, do you start picking on it? No, you let it heal on its own. You can't just simply sit there and just allow Eric Dyer to completely destroy the morale in the dressing room because you're playing the worst team. If he plays Phillips against Aston Villa, then you'll know that he does think that Phillips was ready, and because he felt that Wolves would be the easier target.
I agree. If Phillips
that's
plays
why
next
that's a
game,
game he could afford to allow Dyer to play in.
I've said this to all the boys on Tottenham Away on Monday night, and I said it to Savva and Perchy on Sunday night. If Phillips plays the next game, you all need to get me on your show to just demand an explanation as to why I said Phillips wasn't ready, right? So the next game is going to be telling. I don't think he's going to start Phillips. I'm telling you, he's going to
He's not going to start Phillips. You better start praying.
Savva, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Is this like the time Stel guaranteed us that Richarlison wouldn't be starting any longer?
It's another Stel
and then 48 hours later is number 9, Richarlison. Oh no, no!
I mean,
So he dropped him, Savva. He dropped him.
Royale
He
playing
dropped Richarlison.
in the end, yeah, in the end,
He dropped him.
Well, but he got there in the end, didn't he?
Listen, I don't think Phillips will play. I don't think.
I don't think. If he didn't play
out of
again,
the U21s.
then why did he not start?
Because if Dyer or Davies get injured, you're forced to play him now. You've got no choice in hell.
I'll be honest. I'll say this now. I said this on.
Going to play as well, by the way.
I said this on the Sunday.
Other games this season.
But still, I said this on the Spurs review, and you know what I said? I said I think that they didn't think Ben Davies would be back. That's why they pulled him. And then when Ben Davies came back, he jumped straight back above Ashley Phillips. I'll be honest. That's what I thought happened.
There's a good argument to be had there, for sure.
Right, guys. I am off. I need to get onto my show quickly, but I'll speak to you all again very soon.
You're not allowed to do stuff on your own show.
Yeah, that is taking the piss a little bit there.
We've got a binding contract, haven't we? I'll see you tomorrow, Savva. I'll see you tomorrow, Perchy.
I'll see you in 11 and a half hours at my front door.
Oh, he's got a timer on and everything. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just understand how the 24-hour clock works. It's okay.
I'm glad you finally worked it out.
Listen,
Right,
thanks for coming on, man. Take care, Has. Big up. See you later.
Take care, guys.
See you, mate.
Guys, before we, whilst Perchy's doing all that stuff, there you go, that was quick. There's over 400 of you in the chat. Come on, we've only got 180 likes. There should be 250, 300 likes. Smash that like button. The Spurs fans in YouTube are by far the worst at smashing the like button. Smash that like button, and we should be getting some subscribers tonight, people. We've had about 6 or 7 so far. If we can get 12 more subscribers tonight, we'll get to 11,850. That would be absolutely brilliant. And these two gentlemen below us, they also have a channel where they also talk about football. and also talk about Tottenham. So please go and subscribe to Tottenham Away. And if somebody in the chat would be so kind to put the link in, that would be great as well. Guys, I want to talk about Aston Villa. This has gone from a game where lots of people were very confident. Everyone was like, oh, it's Villa. They're rubbish away. Villa are rubbish away. And to be fair, they're not the greatest team away. Has the playing field been leveled with the injuries that we've got now? Has the pendulum swung in favour of Aston Villa in terms of now their forward line against our back line? And why are people, I'll start with you, Will, why are people so confident? Loads of people in the chat at the beginning of this were saying, and this is why Ryan was asking, loads of people going, oh, don't worry, we'll beat Villa. Don't worry, we've got Villa. Where are you at with all of this with Villa?
I mean, so lucky for us, their away form has been horrible so far this season. That's the only, possible, saving grace that we've got. Their home form has been great. The best home form in the league, and they're 13th in the league in away form. So, that's what we got to do is just try to stump them up at home.
Is it that simple, Stel? I mean, they're not the best away, but I just can't help but think of Watkins, who's on fire. Diaby, Douglas Luiz, Zaniolo, Bailey running at our fullbacks, and these two centre backs. It just scares the crap out of me, Stel. It really worries me.
Right, their away form in the league, they've lost 2. And that was to Newcastle United and Liverpool at Anfield.
And Forest.
And Forest, of course. Yeah, that was the shocker.
Yeah.
And Forest.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think their away form is that horrendous. Otherwise, they wouldn't be 5th, 2 points behind us. They're definitely much better at home. No question of a doubt.
It's because they've won all their home games, right? That's why they're in the position that they're at. They've only won. I don't think they've won one game away all season.
They've beat Chelsea away. They've beaten, they drew with Wolves. Wolves were down to 10 men. Well, we lost to Wolves. They haven't really had too many away, other than a couple of big teams.
That's
I don't think they're
games. 3 losses, 1 draw, and 1 win. That's what I said. 1 win away.
Okay, but the 2 of the losses were against Newcastle and Liverpool, who are probably the 2. I think Newcastle, Liverpool, and City are the 3 hardest away games this season for any team, in my opinion. I think no one wants to go there. So I look at this game and listen, Villa know if they beat us, they go above us. And they're in the top 4. Unai Emery's come out and said his dream is to win the Champions League. He wants to get into that Champions League. They've got a midweek game after us against Legia Warsaw, which means it's first versus second in their group, but they've got a 6-point cushion. So if they lose midweek, it's not the end of the world by a long way. Will they have one eye on midweek? Probably not so much. Will they have more of an eye on the Spurs game? Yes. I personally think we're in trouble in this game. I've just got this feeling he's going to go Højbjerg, Davies, Dyer. I know he is. In fact, I know he's going to do it, and they're going to get torn to pieces. They're going to get ripped to shreds. Them 3. Ben Davies isn't going to have a good defensive game he does this all the time, Ben Davies. Do you remember when we played Liverpool away, we drew 1-1, and Ben Davies was phenomenal in the back 5 for Conte? That game he had at Anfield. Oh, what a performance. Then the next 2, he had absolute stinkers. He's not a consistent player. I think Emerson's going to get ripped again. I think Porro's going to get torn. I don't think Ange is going to change it the way Will suggested, although I'm not against what Will said, by the way. I don't think Ange will do it. I think he will start a Lo Celso or a Benton. No, he's going to have to because Bissouma's missing. So he will be forced to start Gio or Bentancur. So maybe on an attacking front, will be a bit better. But when you look at Villa this season, when they attack, they're good. They're good. I listen, I don't want to sound negative and pessimistic because I'm not. I've been backing Ange all season. I still back him. I defended his tactics against Chelsea and I defended his decision of players against Wolves. I just think we're going to lose it. I just think Villa are going to be better on the day. We've got too many players out. Adogi being back is a bonus, but is that the game changer? Not for me.
I think it is.
I'm-
Emerson Royale made 0 overlaps or underlaps, no driving forwards, no carries, none of that stuff, right? On that left-hand side in the fullback. That's what Adoji's does. It's good back. In fact, Adoji creates more off that left-hand side than any of the left wingers have so far this season.
What?
Or when Son was playing there. So, I mean, creatively, I think people underestimate how much he creates on that. And he's assisted both Maddison and Son so far this season. So
I think Udogie needs that senior figure next to him, that Van der
I
Ven,
agree.
that Ferro, that
Senior,
Bissouma
same
who sat in
age.
front to play. Sorry,
Sorry.
second.
What I would say, I think Villa are going to be, and guys in the chat before I put the poll out, so let me know. We want to know your thoughts on what you think, win, lose, or draw against Villa. So the poll's out there, so get clicking on what you think will be, whether you want to be positive, negative. No, I don't. Listen, you know what?
No,
I don't think it is. I think, do you know what? I don't think so either. I think Villa are a very, very good side and they attack really, really well. My concern will be that front three is better than Wolves' front three. And the chances, we were talking about it earlier, the chances created by Wolves, it's the percentages, right? I always call it the percentages. Villa will score a higher percentage of the same opportunities we gave Wolves, right? They've got Ollie Watkins, Bailey, Zaniolo, Diaby, right? These are good players. And you give those players the opportunity. John McGinn chips in with goals from midfield. Douglas Luiz. I would be very, very worried. Listen, I agree. I think it will be the same 11. Obviously, apart from a doggy going back in at left back. I genuinely think that'll be this. I think it'll be the same team. That's my concern. And I don't see us holding them out.
Perchy, there is a way.
Scored 6 goals away, right? It's 6 goals while they scored away.
There is a way.
Yeah, but this is against us, Will. This is the thing.
Yeah,
I know they've
see,
not
that's why.
scored. I know they've not scored many away, but look how absolute toothless we were against Wolves. Like we
You can't say that we were worse. Our performance versus Wolves was worse than Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, but that's not how football works, is it? Do you know what I mean? That's not what we're assuming is that as bad as Villa played against Forest is how bad we'll play. What Nottingham Forest
we won't play, that we'll play as bad as we did against Wolves, right?
But you know we will, because we've been playing poorly for weeks now. This wasn't a one-off.
No, but it's a different game. It's a Doji's different back. There's different aspects. Each individual game is an independent statistical variable.
There's no Bissouma, is there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But who are we kidding? We're going to go into this game still with no creativity, still with Davis and Dyer at centre half, still with Pedro Porro at right back, and Aston Villa. What they have got is their forward. You've got to remember as well the small pitch of Nottingham Forest, where Nottingham Forest camped everybody on the edge of their box. So during that game, I don't know if any of you watched it. Nottingham Forest had 3 big athletic brutes in central midfield who literally lived on top of the back four, and they literally pinned in their own half, which is what I was told we were never allowed to do under Angepostecoglou. And they said, break us down. And Villa didn't have any room to get in behind. The difference when they come to Tottenham Hotspur, they will get in behind. Every team gets in behind us. They will. You know it. They will get in behind us.
There is one way we can win this. There is a way we can win this game. And that's, there's one thing this team is very good at, but we didn't see enough of it against Wolves, but we saw it against Chelsea with 9 men. They've got to press with that aggression. If we press with aggression, if we do that, we can get into Villa and we will create and we will score.
Who's creating though? Who?
Well, the point is, Savva, if we win the ball closer to their goal, it's easier just to play a through ball as opposed to Maddison, who beats a man and creates. Bentancur can play those passes. Kulu, as inconsistent as he is, he has got that pass in him. The point I'm trying to make is, I'm not saying we'll beat Villa if we do this, but that is our best chance. Against Wolves, we just look so lackluster in the press.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah,
I'll ask a question to you lads there quickly. Like, who in your desired midfield 3, what would it be against Villa and why? Because I've thought about it now, and my concern is who goes in now. There's no Bissouma, no Maddison. Who's your midfield 3?
Me personally, I would do Kulusevski, Sarr, Bentancur.
I agree.
But do you know what my
I agree as
concern
well.
is going to be? My concern is going to be Sarr, Højbjerg. Dare I say it? He brings in Oliver Skip,
If
or
he does
he
that,
bring in?
there's going to be an absolute meltdown in our fan base if he
The
starts.
question
Skip
is,
and
the biggest-
Højbjerg, Perchy.
I don't think there will
fan
be.
base is
I
going
don't think
to
there will
lose it.
be. Still, people will still keep going with this narrative
I
of
will
you just trust
I will
Ange.
question him.
Right?
Listen, I will question Ange.
Why
if
would
he
you
does
do that when you have Lo Celso, Bentancur?
Yeah,
both
I
fit
think-
and available?
the question is can Bentancur start? Bear in mind the injury he's had. Can he
Has- yeah.
start now?
Yeah.
Because that's the key. Because I think if Bentancur's fit enough to
depressing
do
me, man.
90 minutes, he
Proper
starts.
depressing me, Perchy. I tell you, it's depressing.
He has to
But no,
start.
but listen, I'm trying to be real with it because the thing is Bentancur starts if he's fully fit. The question is can he play 90 minutes? I
he'll
don't
start
think
Lo
so
Celso.
Then
yet.
you rotate him with Lo
Perchy, he'll
Celso.
start Lo Celso.
But the fact is, he didn't even start the Celso against Wolves. Why is he not started him? Like, I'm not his biggest fan. I think he's awful, by the way. I think he's one of those players.
I think he
has to
thought
go.
Pat Maddison could do a job there, and he couldn't. And I don't think he'll
Do
make the same
you
mistakes.
drop Sarr or do you keep him in the team?
Keep him in the team. Just put him back on the right where he's supposed to play, where he's
Yeah.
been playing well all season. Like instead of rotating, I didn't understand why he pulled that player out of the position. I would rather have seen Højbjerg play on the left because at least for his country, he can be somewhat creative. He does have a long pass on him sometimes. Right? Højbjerg has moments of goodness that can spark. I don't understand why you're taking Pat Maddison out of the position that he's been playing well all season at in order to fit somebody else in. Unless you thought he could do that role, which he can't. He's not that guy. Have we seen the shots
Will,
he
would
takes
you-
over the bar?
Would you say as well, Will? I don't know if it's just me that Graham, who used to come on my shows with me, said the other day. He said, if you've noticed the last 3 or 4 games, it feels like Bissouma's sitting so deep rather than dropping deep to recover. It's like he's starting from deep and being really ineffective. Sarr's moved away from where he originally was. I don't know. It feels like what that dynamic was seems to have really disappeared in the
I
last
think
3 or
Bissouma's
4
scared
games.
to get that yellow card, right? Now that he's gotten it, it's out of his system. He's got another 5 games, plus it resets after the halfway point of the season, right? So I think you'll see a different player. I
Yeah.
think it's just that yellow card that he was afraid to get.
I think Romero and Van der Ven starting games as well gives a lot of confidence to the players that sit in front of them too. I think by losing them, look, footballers aren't stupid, okay? They know when they've got a good player in the team. They know when they've got someone who's crap. Everyone in this team knows, Ben Davies, he'll work hard, but that's all he's going to do. And Dyer's just woeful. And the wing backs are vulnerable. So I think any midfielder who plays in this team will be concerned that they are vulnerable behind them. So I think naturally there might be a bit more of a defensive play in them. Footballers like Harry Kane, he sits in the dressing room. He's like, "I'm not going to win anything with you in this squad. At some point, I've got to go." You know,
I agree. So what we're saying then, guys? Let me, if I was to ask for some score predictions before we go into the last topic, Tottenham versus Aston Villa. What are we going with? A doggy's back as long as he gets over this little niggling injury, whatever it is that he's picked up. Will, Tottenham versus Villa at White Hart Lane.
Oh, I don't know. It just depends on who starts for me. Because however which way it goes, it's gonna be, it could go anywhere from 3-1 loss to a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win. It just depends on who plays for me.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to push you for a number. I'm going to push you for a score.
Let's have to go split the middle then. 1-1.
1-1. Still?
3-1 Aston Villa.
So 1-1, 3-1 Aston Villa. Perchy, El Perchio.
I'm going to agree with Stel, 3-1 Villa. I genuinely worry about their attacking 3. Personally, I think they're going to cause us a load of issues.
Yeah, I think Aston Villa will beat us 2-1. I think we're always likely to grab a goal.
Yeah.
I just worry about our ability to sustain a number of attacks without attacking players on the pitch. And I really do. My big thing here is I think a lot of these games we've been getting away with teams that have players that can't finish at all and are very uncomposed. Is that a word? Uncomposed. If you look at Diaby and Watkins especially, they are very composed. And I think that they will take us to the cleaners, if I'm brutally honest. So, hey, listen, I know that's not as cheery as people would have wanted it. The last thing I want to talk about, just before we do that, Gambling has come back in again. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate your super chats. I said, maybe it's just me. I'm super disappointed with Johnson. Sure, he has pace, but what is the point in pace if you can't keep that pace up after 5 to 10 minutes? Yeah, listen, I hear you do, but I think it is early doors. I think for me, more of the shame is what is the point of that pace if you're just going to have to cut in because you're on the wrong wing. That's the thing for me, but I hear you. Let's see what happens in the next few games. And then Gambling's come in again. Thank you so much. Another super chat.
God.
Thank you. So I wonder who this is. And said, I think the Villa game would be the perfect match to bring on Donnelly as a sub in the last 10 to 15 minutes, especially if struggling. Now is the time to give chances. I think we already alluded to this earlier, guys, that, at some point it would be nice to see some of these players being given a chance. But big up Gambling. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. And come on, for the last 10 minutes of the show, smash that like button. We're on 202 likes. We should be on 250 to 300 easily for the number of you in here. And we need 7 more likes to hit tonight's subs to hit tonight's target.
Do you know?
Link is in the chat. Sorry, just quickly. The link is in the chat. It is pinned as well. So please, please, please do get over and subscribe. And it's much appreciated. Go on, Stel.
I was going to say, I feel a little bit sorry for Johnson at the moment because we don't really know what he's about fully, because he's had cameo appearances coming on for 20 minutes and then he gets to start against Arsenal, was quite effective, and then goes off injured, comes back on against Crystal Palace, helps us, score a goal. And then the one time he gets to start a game again, right, finally, he's going to replace Richarlison. There's no Van der Ven, there's no Dogi, there's no Romero, there's no Maddison. He comes into a team that's depleted. I'd like to see Johnson starting on a regular basis in a more stronger Spurs squad to really see what he's like when he links up with these players. So I think at the moment it's a bit tricky with Johnson to really understand much about him, I think.
But how long can we say that about players? Like at some point, I mean, we spent £47 million on the bloke, and I'm not saying he's technically done anything wrong. My issue isn't the players he's been playing with still; it's that he's playing out of position. And I'm not blaming him for that. I truly believe this guy is playing massively out of position. And when you said we don't know what he's about yet, we all watched him at Forest for a couple of years. Everyone's seen him play for Forest and Wales.
I mean, we don't know what he's about in the Ange way. Why he's at Spurs?
Sure, but we won't ever find that out, will we? If he keeps playing on the left,
that's my thing.
I just don't know.
It could be worse.
I feel sorry.
Ain't that bad?
Wait, Will's talking from the. Where is he?
From the back.
Gotham City.
No, I feel sorry for him personally until I will reserve my judgment on him until I start seeing him have a run of games out on the right hand side. I just think playing him out on the left, he's out of position. Like, let's be honest, if we played Bissouma as a number 10, I'm just using that as just one. He played as a number 10 and we go, oh, he's not very good. Well, he's not playing in a position that he's suited to. Like, do you know what I mean? I know it's a bit facetious and said, like, in the sense of it, but he's not a left-sided winger. He's a right-sided winger. I don't know. Until that week, I will hold judgment on him until I see him playing on the right for me.
Look, last 10 minutes of the show, as we'll wrap this up at 10 p.m. I want to talk to you guys, and please keep subscribing. Thank you to the one person that has. Come on, we are now only 6 away from tonight's target, so please do smash that subscribe button. I want to talk to you guys tonight about Richarlison. Lots of reports this week that he's wanted by clubs in Saudi Arabia. I was very, very happy to see this news. Do we see this happening? What sort of fee do you think it would be? Because I've got this horrible feeling deep down. I don't know why. I've got this feeling that Postecoglou likes him. I've got the feeling that he feels like he can depend on him. Where are we all at with this? Is this just paper talk?
How long of a drive is it from Tottenham to Heathrow?
I thought he was going to say to Saudi Arabia. That's going to be a long trek.
That as well. I was thinking that.
Right. Okay. So is there anybody
I'll fly over just to give him a ride? So
yeah. I mean, Do you see what I'm saying though? I just get the feeling, Will, that Postecoglou likes him for his tenacity, for his hard work, for all those things that fans love but that don't actually win your games. I just get the feeling he might like that about him.
Yeah, I don't think he likes him that much. Otherwise, he wouldn't have immediately taken him out of his position and put Son there, right?
I hope so.
I just think that it has. He's got to get rid of him. Look, if someone's gonna come in and willing to give it, you just got to do it. You just got to bite the bullet there on that one and say it was a mistake and move on. I mean, because the guy is not it. He's not a footballer, in my opinion. He's a passion merchant, right? Apparently, he's got some smell or something that the fans can smell. That means he's good. I don't know what that means, but apparently he's got it.
Oh, don't. But all fans love him though. I find it. We have a weird.
Our fans love the worst players and don't.
No,
on the best
do you know
players.
what? You're spot on. Like it is so true. Like our fans, honestly, the abuse I got the other day on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, because I said that pound for pound he was one of the worst strikers we've had at the football club. I got barrels of abuse for it. Oh, he's not the worst. I went, read what I meant. I meant on the fact that he cost us 60 million blooming quid. Listen, I think, do you know what? My reservations aren't what Savva said. I've got a slightly different take. I have a funny feeling he won't go. And that terrifies me. I have a funny feeling that he's quite comfortable at Tottenham. And he'll go, well, I don't know if I can be bothered. I'll go. I think it's what... Though. That's going to be the key, right? It's going to take the Saudis to go, here's a big wad of cash for you. But the price tag, I think this is the opportunity. If we're a proper football club, I always say, I've been saying it for weeks.
That league's his level, by the way.
If we're... and so I think you'd struggle to get into some of them teams. But on a serious level, I said, for me at the moment, I would sit there and say, if we're a proper football club, we sell him in January. I've been saying it for weeks. I said, because proper football clubs, if it goes wrong with a player, they go and we get someone new in. For me, I think this is the opportunity we can get a good substantial. We could recoup as much of the money as possible. If we said it's going to cost them £50 million, they go, here's the money, we'll take him. But I think if we lose the opportunity in January, I think we're in trouble, and he'll be one of those. He'll be the next Ndombele, where he's still sat on our books in 3 years' time. That's my concern.
My answer to this is so simple. If Ange wants him and doesn't get rid of him, whether it's now or in a year's time, right? If Ange doesn't get rid of him, he will be sacked at Spurs eventually, because we will not succeed with Richarlison in this squad under any circumstance.
I agree. He's awful.
Anything with this guy. So
I actually tried to work out, and I was trying to work out how many football clubs would have him as a number 9. I genuinely think I'd have Colton Morris over him, and that's not being disrespectful. I genuinely think I'd have Colton Morris from Luton over him, because at least Colton Morris works. Like, he's a brute. I sit there and I watch Richarlison play, and I think he's one of the worst strikers I've ever seen at Tottenham. He's awful, and you're right. If he keeps hold of him, the manager will lose his job because of it, in my opinion.
The thing is, right, someone in the comments says that we wanted to sell Dyer and Lloris. They didn't want to go. You can't do anything about it. You can do something about it. You manage them out. Don't put them in the squad. When you name your 25-man squad, you don't put them in it. And then they will naturally demand to leave because they're not getting any football whatsoever, ever. You just, that's how you do it. But it takes balls, and it takes the chairman to stand by his manager, which is where I think we come unstuck.
Someone in the chat went Perchy.
Either SL, so let's not talk about that. Right?
Someone in the chat went Perchy. Would you swap him for Nketiah? Yes, I would. Yes. I genuinely would have. I'd have Nketiah all day over Richarlison. He's awful. Dominic Solanke. Yes. Keep putting him in the chat. I'll probably agree with probably 99 of 100 of them in there. Like,
Kai Havertz.
Who?
No.
Kai Havertz.
No. Not really a striker, but no, I think he's equally as bad. I'd have Paul Mullin over him. I'd have Paul Mullin of Wrexham over Richarlison, genuinely, in the Premier League. Like, it sounds
Listen, I've watched the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. Paul Mullen's got a little bit about him, mate. He gets the ball out his feet, whips them in the top corner. Paul Mullen looks like he wants to score goals. Do you know what I mean? Paul Mullen knows where that, you know, that funny thing at the end of the pitch, I think is normally metal. You know, the goalposts. He knows where they are.
Yeah.
Oh, just unbelievable. Gambling coming. Gambling's been very generous to my big up Gambling. Thank you so much. I'd love to know who this is. I've never seen this account before, but big up to you. Gambling has said, or Gameling. Am I saying it wrong? Is it Gameling? Gambling?
Gambling.
He said Gambling. Gambling. I think I have faith in Richie. I mean, sure, he's been terrible. But if he really has been playing,
you were doing so well.
Let me read it out.
No, I'm triggered.
Let me read it out. I think I have faith in Richie. I mean, sure, he's been terrible. But if he really has been playing in physical pain, which is astounding to me, maybe after surgery, he'll suddenly be 10 times better. Can we just say, the thing is, when there are certain players that we say things about, I'm going to give you a list of players that get these excuses. Sanchez had about 6 or 7 years of it. He's injured. Game consistently. Managers mess him about. I mean, no. Lo Celso has now had 5 seasons of it. No one gives him a chance. He's good. He's right. No. Ndombele. No. Sessegnon. No. Brian Hill's getting it. Sissoko got it for years. Richie is that guy now. Richie is that guy where we're going to talk about him and talk about him and talk about him. He's never been good. Can we look at his record as a striker for the last 10 years since he turned pro at 17? In the last 10 years, do you know what his average goals per season is, guys?
8 or 10.
I don't want to know.
It's something like 9.2 or something.
Yeah.
Like
65 million. 65 million pounds.
Unbelievable.
Seriously, it's like all of our fan plays. I don't know how long it's been, but I have been telling our fan base since before Brian Hill put pen to paper that he was a waste of money signing. Why did we sign him? Literally fell out with people on other channels because of my opinions on Brian Hill. When is he gonna come good? Because that's what you all keep telling me, that these players are gonna come good.
Yeah.
When are they gonna come good? And when are you gonna stop? You know, you don't know ball, Will. You're just an American. Well, I've been right on all of these players before they even put pen to paper. So when are they coming good? When?
Don't. It's mad. Like some of the players that we've signed. Like someone put a list of our top 10 transfers on fee, and literally, apart from Heung-min Son, they've all been awful. Has anyone seen this list? It's the top 10 transfers.
Go on. I'm sure
it is awful. It's Ndombele, Richarlison, Soldado,
Celso. The
Celso, Sanchez. Like there were some absolute awful football players on that list, and you're going. Apart from Heung-min Son, ironically, was number 10. Was the only one that you go, wow, he's been a success. It's crazy, but yeah.
Well, look, it is what it is. Listen, unless anybody's got anything else to say, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. Everyone should leave their shows ending talking about Brazil's number 9. That sounds wrong. Brazil's number 9. Let that sink in, guys. Of all the greats we've grown up watching play for Brazil, he is Brazil's number 9.
And that's why Brazil hasn't won a World Cup in like 20 years.
Do you know Spurs, right? We're just like Man United. Like Ten Hag, he's still got Maguire, Johnny Evans. He's still got these type of players lingering in the club, making his life difficult. And we're, do you know? I look at
no agenda, Yves Bissouma. Use your real name on YouTube, not somebody else's.
You know when you see like Jurgen Klopp, Arteta, Pep, these managers, they've gone into clubs. Not that I rate Arteta, but they've gone into clubs and they got to clear out all the ones they didn't want. I just want a manager at Spurs to be given that kind of authority to just clear it out. Like a clear out isn't getting rid of some of them, all of them. You know, Sessegnon will never be good at Spurs. The guy is injury prone. He will never come good. Just sell him. Don't give him a new contract. Get them all out and bring in the players you want. Ange. No matter how much they cost, good, high price, low price. As long as Ange gets to build his squad, I can accept that. But I can't accept seeing these Richies and Dyers at the club. It's too much. You know how it ends. You know how the story ends.
But still, that's exactly why I said at the start of the season, before everyone got really, really excited because we won a few games of football, and I just said, whilst we've still got all of these players still in our books, we need a gutting out of this. Like when everyone talks about rebuilds and all this, like we need to start realizing we've got a lot of rubbish on our team, and it's going to take a long time to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
We got to start though. Yeah. We need to get rid of at least 4 or 5 players this January window.
Do you think we'll be able to though, Will? Like 4 or 5?
Dyer needs to go.
And Dombele's coming back.
Not in January. You're getting rid. You're not going to get. Dyer's going nowhere. He'll go at the end of his contract. Hugo Lloris will go at the end of his contract. You've got Ndombele, you're still going to have another 12 months. You've got another problem to deal with in 12 months because he's coming back. It looks like you've got to deal with him. This is the problem, right? Like as I said, that's why I always said that it's going to take a long time because we've got so many problems, right?
Look, Richarlison doesn't even play well for Brazil, so I don't know why people use that as a.
Brazil don't have a 9. They don't have a goal scorer, right?
They don't have anybody that can play number 9.
I
mean, Richarlison's bad, and he's not much worse than Gabriel Jesus, to be honest with you. So when it comes to finishing,
I don't know about that. Jesus
100%.
is a much better finisher.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there, guys. It's been
Van der Ven, let's see him come back early.
It's been a great show. Listen, thank you so much to everybody for the likes. Thank you for the super chats. Let's get another 25 likes on the way out to get this to 250. Stel, Will, guys, thank you so much for coming on. And apologies, it was a day earlier than normal. But we are going to the awards to sit with Last Word on Spurs tomorrow. So that'll be fun. I'm sure they're looking forward to seeing me. And I'll give them a thank you just from you, Stel. I'm sure that.
Tell Ricky Sachs, big up.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, Ricky's cool. It's Jason who hates me, but never mind. Will, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Please get over and subscribe to Tottenham Away. These guys, we should be getting them up closer to that 10K marker. Please continue to subscribe over here. We are 5 or 6 away now, I think, when I last checked from tonight's target. So please, 5 of you on the way out, please smash the subscribe. Perchy, thank you for your time as always, my friend.
No, thank you. Of course, it's been good.
And have a safe flight tomorrow from Barcelona to Manchester.
I'm flying into Manchester.
Yeah, enjoy. Everybody, take care. Much love, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
And I was just gonna say, guys, we'll try and get some bits out there at the award ceremony for all you guys tomorrow. We'll definitely get some bits on the channel for you lot.
Yeah,
get an interview, Perchy. Interview Savva and Jason McGovern.
There you go. Just for that, smash the likes. Just for that. There you go, guys. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Out of your mouth. That's what's Will Smith.
On that note, come on, you Spurs. See you later.
See you.